I find it really interesting, and I'm sure that a lot of you and us feel this way at some point in our life. So it's important because at Deloitte, of course, we definitely want you to feel your authentic self when you're going to work. We want diverse teams, different backgrounds, and sometimes effects of imposter syndrome can get in the way of how you feel about that, and maybe gets in the way of you being able to bring your authentic self to the workplace. So best way to get over it is to understand it. Let's see. So we'll start off with introductions. You haven't heard or seen my voice face before. I'm Sarah Hoyos, and I'm the Los Angeles campus recruiter for Deloitte. And I have some wonderful professionals with me today. And Anne-Marie, if you would like to start it off and maybe add in a fun fact in there.
A fun fact. There's so many. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anne-Marie Hines. I am a managing director in the Los Angeles audit practice. I graduated from CSUN, so it's always fun to come back, as it were. And I'm looking forward to when I can actually come back out on campus and see your all bright and smiley faces. But this, actually, I've found that the Zoom meetings are pretty effective and efficient too, because I can join so many more CSUN events than I ever could have in the past. So there are silver linings to all of this as well. I am in our TMT practice, so technology, media, and telecommunications, although I have a significant number of clients in the consumer product space as well. I have 2 new public clients that just went public through a SPAC. You hear SPACs a lot lately. They're electric vehicle companies, and they used to be classified in the automotive industry, but now they're in the tech industry because there's so much technology on these EV, on the electric vehicles. So fun fact, I don't know, I have a crazy Cocker Spaniel here by my feet, which I'm sure you will hear from soon. I also played tennis on the CSUN tennis team when I went to CSUN. So that's a little bit about me. And we can talk more in detail when we get into the breakouts.
All right. I'm Maria LaBelle, Managing Director in our tax practice out of the Los Angeles office. I also graduated from CSUN many moons ago, so it's always nice to come back and do recruiting at CSUN. A lot has changed over the years, all for the better. So I'm excited to be here. I am part of our tax practice, and I focus on global employer services. Also, you might have heard it referred to as GES. So basically, we work with companies that move their employees around the world. That's kind of putting it in a nutshell on what we do. Right now, spending a lot of time as it relates to remote work. All our clients are struggling with this. Remote work, crossing state lines and crossing borders is getting very complicated for them. So that is where I am spending the majority of my time right now. As for a fun fact, I too, by the way, Anne-Marie, have 2 dogs here. So you might hear some barking. I apologize for that in advance. But fun fact, I just became a dual citizen. So I was kind of excited about that.
Nice. So which other country?
The country is Cyprus. And Cyprus is part of the EU, which is, if I decide to escape the US, I have lots of options to go live and work in Europe. So, yeah.
That's really awesome. Dina, Marina, Jessica, Juan, and so I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Juan is doing a control walkthrough. That's something you do in audit. So it couldn't be moved due to client schedules. So he's here with us in spirit. But Dina, if you want to introduce yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Dina Sisunas. I graduated CSUN in December 2019, so not very long ago. I still see a lot of familiar faces. I am in the audit practice as a first year associate. My clients so far have been in real estate, consumer business, so I'm trying out a lot of different industries. So if you want any information on like how Deloitte, how that's the benefit in Deloitte, let me know and we can talk about that more. Fun fact about me is, like also I was heavily involved in the Accounting Association. I love this organization, have a lot of friends. Even after graduating, we still talk. So thank you so much for like having me, and I'm so excited to be here. And a fun fact about me is, I love boba. Like I can have boba every day and I will not get sick of it. That's it.
Marina, Jessica, I'm not sure if I can see Jessica on the participant list.
I'm here. Hi. Hi everyone. My name is Jessica Chen. I'm a second year tax consultant in a tax practice in Los Angeles office. So I was graduate in UCLA in 2017, but I'm still really excited here to meet you all today. And back in the office, I was working a lot in real estate client, mainly like pass-through work. Sometimes I would get a little bit taste of investment management. So for my working experiences, I feel like it's really excellent because I have a lot of chances to work with a lot of different seniors, and I will be able to get a lot of great exposure to the things I like because I feel like I really enjoy working in real estate for like a lot of different structures. Once you start working with it, you will feel like, oh my God, you have a lot of things to learn, but you will still feel like you enjoy it a lot. So fun fact about me is I'm actually a video game lover. Like if I don't need to work during my spare time, I would just like grab my Nintendo Switch and then play all day. So if you have like that kind of interest or hobbies, like we can group together and talk about it and share our experiences together. Thank you.
Marina, if you want to finish it off.
Hi, everyone. Hi, my name is Marina Arbit. I'm very excited to meet you all. I'm super excited to be back. I am also from CSUN. I graduated in May 2020. I am a tax consultant first year with Deloitte in the Los Angeles office. I've had a wonderful experience so far, and it's been very diverse, and I'm learning a lot in my first year. And it's been an exciting introduction to the firm. I did start remotely. It was, you know, an interesting experience, and it did take a great team of supporting us first years, the group that started with me, getting started in this type of environment. So I truly appreciate everybody who's been helping us out, and I can certainly share that experience with everybody when we're in breakout rooms, because it was very, very helpful and great introduction to everybody and a way to network with everybody.
I think you just accidentally went on mute.
There we go. I am learning all the way. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. And I just wanted to share some parts of my job. I started out doing, you know, general work that would come my way, but recently I've been able to focus on private wealth, which is taxes for the high net worth individuals and their respective entities, and it's been very exciting. I just barely been introduced, but I'm excited to get started. And a fun fact, as you can see, I'm still learning about Zoom, and having started with the firm in July of last year, that was my first big foray into working with Zoom and being on Zoom all the time. So I tried to spice things up day by day by changing the Zoom background as much as possible. So next time you speak with me, might have a different Zoom background, and that's my fun way to keep it fun. So hope you guys like it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marina. And definitely relate with the all being virtual starting off. I have actually only done virtual recruiting events since being in this role. So hopefully we'll be all in person soon.
Hopefully.
Okay, awesome. So just want to share this really quick. If you're not too familiar with Zoom, we are going to be using the breakout feature. So you'll find it in the little black bar. And we'll be going back into the main session, the main room. So just click on the leave breakout room instead of the whole meeting. Okay, awesome. Okay, so imposter syndrome. So definition, it's understood as a false and sometimes crippling belief that one's successes are the product of luck or fraud rather than skill. So this happens when we disregard our talents, our abilities, and especially in times that we're presented with amazing opportunities. It's almost like you don't see yourself as highly as your supervisor does, your colleagues do, and you feel like they're kind of overestimating you, right? So just a couple of facts. It happens with all genders, so it's not only specific to male, females, and more than half of the entire population is going to feel it at some point in their life. Some symptoms could be your lack of confidence, social anxiety, and there's an example that, to tie it into movies, I think almost everyone has seen Harry Potter, but an example is when Harry was told he was a wizard and he just thought it was impossible. He's like, you must be mistaken. There's nothing special, unique about me. And we all end up finding out that he was an amazing wizard, but that's an example of it, right? Okay, so kind of how I mentioned before, 70% of the population has this feeling, and it's important to share it just so that you know you're not alone with these feelings, right? And unless you try to understand it and get over it, you're not gonna, accept those new opportunities that get presented to you. You'll stay stagnant, or it just won't take your career to the level that you're capable of taking it to. So I'll share an example, and then any of our professionals want to share any experience or a time in their life where they've felt this, then I welcome you to unmute yourself and share with us. But my example for when this happened to me is actually when I was doing recruiting as a student in Florida. And I just had service industry experience. I wasn't in any accounting clubs, and I almost wasn't even gonna go to college. And I was just kind of working to pay for school, right? So when I got invited to interviews with Deloitte, I was just like, there's a mistake because I'm definitely not qualified. And then when, I ended up getting an offer, I was kind of second guessing it. And I thought that, wow, they are crazy for extending this offer to me. I definitely, I do not know anything about accounting. So I just wasn't, giving myself the credit. And I did put a lot of time and work and dedication into getting that interview, getting good grades and stuff. So I did deserve it, but at that time, I definitely was like, I don't know how I got away with this, but I'm gonna sign it immediately. But that's just an example. If one or two professionals want to unmute themselves and maybe share something with everyone.
So I'll share. When I first saw this imposter syndrome, I had never even heard of it, to be honest with you. I had to look it up. I'm like, what is this? And as I was reading it, I was just, oh, it actually resonated. And, I was thinking back when I was in college, and going through the interview process. At the time I was interviewing, with the different firms, and I did get an offer from Andersen, which was one of the big accounting firms. You may or may not have heard of Andersen in one of your law classes, most likely. But anyways, one of the top firms, and I got an offer, and my first reaction at the time was, wow, how did that happen? I didn't fit the stereotype at all as to what I thought was a traditional, professional that goes to, a firm like that. I was, first generation to go to college. English was sort of my second language at the time. I wasn't overly technical. I wasn't overly conservative. I didn't go to one of the prominent universities that I thought they only recruited from. I worked in retail. I didn't have a job in accounting. So I kind of went down that whole list and thought, what is it about me that they wanted? So that is my example. But 30 years later, I am still in public accounting. So there must have been something.
Definitely, I think a little more than something, a lot, Maria. Thank you for sharing that.
Maria, I'm much like you, hadn't heard of this before, and I had to read through it a few times to try and think through and relate. But the example that first popped into my mind, and still sticks to me with this day. I do have 2 boys who are in middle school, so sometimes it resonates when I think about that. But was actually when I was in college, and I had gotten pretty good grades, well, really good grades all through, which is obviously how I was in VITA Alpha Psi and Accounting Association. But in intermediate accounting, that's, I think, one of the more challenging courses. And after a few tests, the professor came to me and said, maybe accounting not for you. And I don't know if I took that as a challenge or what, but I certainly didn't take him at face value for what he said. I think being, an athlete, it made probably me more competitive and wanting to prove him wrong. But it would have been very easy for me to say, okay, you're right. This is an accounting professor coming to me and saying, this isn't the right field for you. Maybe you should pick a different profession. So that's something that still resonates to me to this day, even, and then I have to keep it in mind with my kids, when sometimes they don't do well in a class or something's not clicking for them, I have to find a different way to try and make the connections for them. And so I think that's why it's made Common Core very enlightening to a lot of us, although probably not on topic to imposter syndrome, but still, I think it's just the diversity in thought of what you really have to keep your eyes open to, and of not accepting at face value, things that may seem black and white to you sometimes. And that's why I think it's important to be cognizant and aware of those biases also.
By chance, was that Dr. Chu?
Yes. Yeah, it was a tough class, but yeah, we're still here in accounting. Look at us now.
Thank you so much for sharing. We will go on to the next slide. No one else wants to share. So let's see. Okay, so here is a situation, and this is, we'll go through this, and then we will go into breakout rooms to kind of discuss feelings about it. But so the situation is that you're presented with a new opportunity to lead a team of peers in an exciting project. So possible feelings might be embarrassment, procrastination, physical responses could be sweaty palms, difficulty sleeping. So while we're in breakout rooms of, let's say, like 5 or so in each one, we can discuss how you might react or feel to this situation if you're put in it. And while others are speaking up and sharing with you, just make sure that you're listening, being respectful, because it does take vulnerability and courage to speak up about these experiences. So only if you're comfortable sharing. And then once your group gets to share, then maybe you guys can find some commonalities between your responses on how you might feel with it. So if our host could open the breakout rooms.
Yes, sure. We are going to open it up in a minute. Thank you so much for your presentation, everyone. My name is Mariana. I'm director of Wednesday meetings, and I have a co-director, Ala.
Hi, my name is Ala. We're happy to have you today. And we have a couple of announcements. So Thursday, February 11th, we have our Big Four panel from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Don't miss out on that. And the networking workshop is this Saturday, February 13th from 9 to 4 p.m. The registration form was sent out this week. Sign up if you haven't done so already. It's a great way to meet new professionals. For regular updates, links to our podcast and more, please follow us on Instagram at CSUN. Also, table sitting hours are still going on Monday to Friday, so stop by if you want to learn more about AA activities, our director, execs, or if you want to just hang out. Thank you.
And we have opened out the breakout rooms so everyone can join. If you have an issue with joining, just let us know in the chat.
And we'll be in there for like about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll come back into the main session and regroup. We're able to find something in common and maybe reactions or feelings that you get when you're put in a situation like leading a team. So does anyone want to, only if you're comfortable, of course, take yourself off mute and maybe share something that was a common feeling or reaction that everyone shared?
I think just like an increased sense of pressure, expectation was a common theme, and just being a little bit nervous because of that.
And feeling like you could overcome it though?
Yeah, like everyone seemed more than willing to to do it. Just a little nerves, but knowing you have that little expectation.
Sweet. Thanks for sharing, Julian. Okay, yes. So the only way to normalize it is really talking about it and understanding it. And that helps when you're able to share your experiences and others' experiences on, times that you've gone through this. So hopefully talking about it made you feel a little bit more comfortable with it. But that's the topic on imposter syndrome. I'll open it up for Q&A in the main room, but if there's no recruiting specific questions or a question that you want to ask one of our professionals in the main room, maybe it'll be helpful for other students. But if not, then we can go and spend the remainder of the time in breakout rooms, just a random one, so that our professionals can get to know you and you can get to know them. So I'll open it up if anyone has a question.
Sarah.
Yes.
Do the students have access to our email addresses just in case they want to ask a question?
I think so, right?
If you could put it in the chat, that would be great. That one everyone can follow up.
Okay.
Sounds good.
It looks like nobody has a question. Everyone wants to go into breakout rooms now.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll just leave this up and we'll open up breakout rooms.